I thought testing Ooni's new rotating stone would be pretty straightforward. Instead, my first pizza went completely off the rails. But after a quick redemption arc, I started to see why people are excited about this thing. Yeah. Whew. That thing is heavy. I've made a ton of giant pizzas in the Ooni Koda 2 Max, and honestly, it's always a little intimidating. Because once you get to 20 inches, all those problems you face when you're making 12 and 16-inch pies just get magnified. The launch can be tricky, turning it's hard. You rip a hole in the dough, that's your entire cooking surface ruined for a couple of minutes. So today, we're gonna set up and test the new rotating stone for the Koda 2 Max and immediately throw a monster pie at it, which feels like a terrible idea. We're gonna figure out if this is just another lazy Susan or the ultimate upgrade to make the perfect monster pie right at home. Huge thanks to Ooni for sending the Koda 2 Max rotating stone over for testing, just like a microwave. If you want to learn more about the rotating stone and maybe pick one up for yourself, I'll link it in the description. To set this puppy up, the first thing we have to do is remove the current stone from the Koda 2 Max. I got a little messy on the last cook in here. That's okay, before we put this in, we'll clean this puppy out. Attaching the hub to the oven is pretty simple. It just slots right into a few existing holes in the oven floor. Once that's secure, we just pop in a couple double A's and we're good to go. The stone basically works like the turntable in your microwave, but bigger, better, and actually useful for slinging pies. The center section spins and 4 corner pieces stay in place so the oven floor is covered in corduroy. Manually turning a pizza isn't the hard part of making a giant pie. The hard part is manually turning a pizza while making sure the heat is even on both sides, while paying attention to whoever you have over for pizza night, your kids are running around, whatever's going on. This isn't a necessity, but it is gonna be a huge quality of life upgrade. It was pretty easy to install. We had a little finagling going on to get it onto the mount, but once it sat on there, everything runs smoothly. The magnetic base for the batteries is just fun. It has a motion sensor, a button, and if you have the digital thermometer hub on your Ooni, you can use the button on that to control it as well. I'm really excited to let this thing preheat, burn off all those manufacturing oils, and then we're gonna make a giant pizza. All right, our stone's nice and preheated. So let's see if this really makes our pizzas better. Or easier, I guess. For the first bake, I decided to go big right out of the gate. Because if this thing was gonna make pizza easier, I figured we might as well give it a proper test. So far, everything was looking pretty good. The dough stretched like a charm. Now that's a big pizza. The toppings flowed freely. We loaded that pie clean, and the launch, here goes nothing. Absolute perfection. Or so I thought. I figured we nailed it because at first everything seemed fine. Until it wasn't. The stone would spin, catch, spin again, and I had no idea why. But then I saw it. In all my excitement, I hadn't given the crust a chance to set before starting the rotation. And with a pizza this large, the edges of the dough had begun to sink into the cracks between the rotating portion of the stone and the stationary corners. So every time that stone tried to turn, it dragged some pizza with it. That's pizza making. So we let that stone burn clean and tried again, but with a slightly smaller sized pizza this time. And this time, everything worked perfectly. I let the crust set, started that spin, and sat there and watched as the rotating stone did all the work for me. It felt weird at first, but in 5 minutes, this puppy looked like something straight out of Brooklyn. All that was left to do was stop the spin, pull the pizza, and admire our handiwork. Yeah. Now that is an even bake. Is it better than a bake I could get if I was locked in turning the pizza with a turning peel by myself? No, but it is consistent and it is low effort. I did not do anything for the 4.5 minutes this was in the oven. If you're having trouble getting an even bake on the crust, getting that base nice and cooked, flies outside, who would have thought? Getting great color on that rotating stone is a major upgrade and it's gonna help you out a lot. If you like turning the pizza and you're happy with the bakes that you're getting, it's definitely not a necessary upgrade. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but if you're frustrated with your bakes or wanna make pizza with as little effort as possible, I think this rotating stone is definitely worth the money. That's why I figured these things out. I test all this gear, so you don't have to. If you have a Ooni Koda oven at home and wanna check out the rotating stone, I'll link it in the description. And if you're looking for tips, tricks, and more to make sure your pizza night goes out without a hitch, be sure to follow Backyard Pizza Lab. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.